Begin by noticing the part of you that wants to stay safe, the part that hesitates, the part that says, not yet, not ready, not good enough. Let that part be seen, not judged, just acknowledged. There is a quiet pattern in many human lives, a pattern of holding back, of waiting, of preparing endlessly instead of stepping forward. Not because of lack of talent, not because of lack of opportunity, but because of fear of failing. Fear of failing is rarely about failure itself. It is about imagined consequences, imagined rejection, imagined humiliation, imagined loss of belonging. Stories the mind builds before anything has actually happened. Notice this gently. Most fear of failure is fear of a future that does not exist. A movie the brain plays using old memories and old emotions. The body reacts, the heart races, the stomach tightens, all in response to something that has not occurred. The mind is trying to protect you, but sometimes protection becomes limitation. Sometimes safety becomes a cage. The brain is designed to avoid pain, but it cannot always tell the difference between real danger and social discomfort, between physical threat and emotional risk. So it sounds alarms for situations that are actually survivable. Speak up, try something new, create something imperfect, be seen. To the brain, these can feel dangerous, but they are not life-threatening, they are life-expanding. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of movement, part of learning, part of becoming. Every skill you have exists because you were once bad at something. Every confidence you have grew from uncertainty. No child learns to walk without falling. No artist creates without mistakes. No meaningful life is built without moments of risk. The fear you feel is not evidence you should stop. Often it is evidence you are near growth. Notice how the mind exaggerates outcomes. It says, if I fail, everything is ruined. If I fail, people will reject me. If I fail, it means something about who I am. But failure is usually smaller than the story, often quieter, often survivable, often educational. And here is something important. People are thinking about you far less than you think. Most people are thinking about themselves, their own fears, their own worries, their own imagined failures. You are not under a spotlight. You are among other humans doing their best to navigate existence. The fear of failure lives mostly in imagination. The solution lives in action. Small action, gentle action, repeatable action. You don't fix fear by thinking perfectly. You loosen fear by moving anyway. Not recklessly, not violently, but honestly. Try this. Shrink the risk. Make the steps smaller. Instead of, I must succeed, try, I will show up. Instead of, I must be perfect, try, I will be real. Perfection is often just fear wearing a costume. Progress is what actually builds confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you build by surviving experiences you once feared. Each time you step forward and reality is softer than your imagination, your nervous system learns. You don't need to eliminate fear. You only need to stop letting it drive. Fear can sit in the passenger seat, but it doesn't get to steer. Ask yourself gently, What would I try if failure was allowed? What would I create if judgment was temporary? Who would I be if I stopped negotiating with fear? You are allowed to be learning. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to be seen while still becoming. Most people you admire were once uncertain. Most success stories contain invisible chapters of doubt. You are not behind. You are in process. Here is how you begin shifting this pattern. First, notice the fear. Name it. Not, I am a failure, but I am noticing fear of failure. This creates space. Second, return to the body. Feel breath. Feel feet. Fear lives in imagined futures. Presence lives in the body. Third, take one small step anyway. Not the perfect step, the possible step. Then let reality show you what is actually true. You are stronger in reality than you are in imagination. Reality gives feedback. Imagination often gives distortion. You are not meant to live a life designed by fear. You are meant to participate, to explore, to try, to adjust, to grow. Even failure contains movement. Even failure contains information. Even failure contains direction. Standing still contains none. You do not need universal approval. You do not need guaranteed outcomes. You only need willingness. Willingness to try. Willingness to learn. Willingness to be human. And slowly, as you act despite fear, fear loses authority. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily, quietly. You begin to see something clearly. The biggest barriers were often internal. The loudest critics were often imagined. The worst outcome rarely arrived. You are more capable than fear suggests, more resilient than doubt claims, more ready than you feel. So breathe. Feel the life already moving through you. Feel the quiet strength in simply existing. Let the idea of perfect outcomes fade. Let the idea of participation grow. You don't have to be fearless. You only have to be willing to move while fear is present. That is courage. That is growth. That is living. And now, rest here. Let this settle. Let possibility open slowly. The world is not waiting for perfect you. The world is waiting for real you. And real you is already enough.